In September 2017, I arrived in Kenya to see my cousin, a man I had known as more than family, almost a shadow of myself. Our bond was forged in a hunger for danger, a shared thirst for experiences that left ordinary people trembling. From childhood, we had chased thrills without hesitation, and now, Africa's wild heart awaited us. My cousin, a respected doctor at Nairobi's premier medical school, had been invited to the Masai Mara Game Reserve to lecture new ranger recruits on survival in the untamed bush. From venomous snakes to ferocious buffalo, from raging wildfires to the aftermath of vicious animal attacks, he had struck a deal with the head warden. Grant us access to the Mara and join him on a private wildlife tour. The thought of walking where lions roamed freely, witnessing the raw blood and beauty of the Mara, sent shivers down my spine. Excitement clawed at me, but beneath it, a faint, unspoken unease lingered. A whisper that in a place this wild, we were never truly alone. We arrived at the Masai Mara during the peak of the Great Migration, a phenomenon so vast it felt unnatural, millions of hooves carving paths across the land as if summoned by something unseen. Rivers churned with crocodiles, skies filled with dust and dread, and the earth itself seemed alive. We spent our first night at the Mara Serena Lodge, perched high above endless plains that stretched into darkness. As soon as we entered the room, I opened the window. The air was thick, ancient, and heavy with silence. We stood to pray Maghrib, our voices low and steady. Then it happened. A roar split the night. Not distant, not faint. A deep, commanding bellow that vibrated through the walls and into our bones. A male lion, staking his claim in the darkness. We froze mid-prayer, hearts pounding, breath caught in our throats. No words were spoken. None were needed. In that moment, the Mara introduced itself, not as a safari destination, but as a living, watching entity. And it was listening. Morning light flooded the Mara, disguising the terror of the night before. What had felt predatory in darkness now appeared breathtaking under the sun. Endless plains shimmered with movement. The Great Migration unfolded before us like a living river. Wildebeest, zebra, and gazelle surging forward in blind obedience to an ancient instinct. We spent the day driving deep into the reserve, guided by rangers who spoke in hushed tones even while laughing. We saw elephants looming like walking fortresses, lions sprawled in the grass with blood on their jaws, hyenas watching from a distance with knowing eyes, and hippos lurking beneath still waters like submerged monsters. Everything here hunted or was hunted. There was no neutrality, only survival. By late afternoon, we were told our final night would be spent not in the lodge, but at a remote campsite inside the reserve. The news thrilled me, but I noticed my cousin hesitate for just a second. Something in his expression darkened. As the sun sank and shadows stretched unnaturally long, I realized the Mara was most honest at night, and it wasn't done with us yet. After an exhilarating day tracking the migration, we drove to the outer edges of the Mara with a documentary filmmaker from Zimbabwe. Night had fallen when a friend dropped us off about a quarter-mile from the lodge. "Walk the rest," he said casually. At first, it seemed trivial, a short stroll. But the Mara doesn't suffer trivialities. Tall, 10-foot bushes loomed on either side of the dusty track. Darkness swallowed the path. Only my phone cast a weak cone of light, barely illuminating the trembling ground. Every rustle, every snapping twig, twisted into the shapes of predators stalking us. The air was heavy, alive with expectation, as if the bush itself was watching. Adrenaline surged, blending fear with a thrilling exhilaration. One step, then another, each crunch of gravel echoing into the night, louder than it should have been. By the time we reached the lodge, my heart pounded so hard it hurt. The Mara had whispered a warning. Nothing here is safe, and everything watches. We finally reached the lodge and shared a hurried dinner, exhausted but still riding the high of the Mara's raw beauty. Then came the warning. An elephant had blocked our path to the campsite. We might have to sleep in an open car, exposed to every predator we'd glimpsed during the day, and some we hadn't. Racing back, adrenaline masking fear, we prayed silently the elephant would move. By the time we reached the tent, luck had shifted temporarily. As we slipped inside, the Mara resumed its nightly symphony. Shadows of colossal shapes crept across the tense canvas. Twigs snapped under immense weight, low rumbles echoed, and the distant roar of lions seemed closer than before. Sleep was a fragile illusion. Every rustle, every movement outside teased the line between life and death. I lay awake, heart hammering, knowing the Mara was alive and aware, and that we were trespassers in its ancient, unforgiving domain. Night in the Mara is a predator's realm, but that night it was something else entirely. As we lay in the tent, the sounds of elephants and hippos surrounded us, but beneath them, there was a subtle, almost imperceptible vibration, an awareness that wasn't animal. My cousin, usually unshakable, tossed and turned, his face pale, eyes wide. "I think something is here," he whispered, voice taut with fear. He claimed it was a Jinn, a presence that had entered our tent, unseen but palpably malevolent. At first, I laughed nervously, dismissing it as exhaustion. But as the minutes crawled by, a chill seeped into my bones. Shadows seemed to slither closer, stretching unnaturally along the tent walls. Every distant roar, every snapping branch felt orchestrated, deliberate. The Mara was no longer just alive. It was aware, and something beyond the natural world was watching us. Sleep became impossible, and terror an intimate companion. After the Mara, we journeyed to Mombasa, a city whispered about for its dark magic and tales of jinns. The transition from wilderness to civilization did nothing to soothe the unease. Here, the unseen world was woven into daily life. A massive sign greeted us even before we entered the city, Mganga, advertising a local witch doctor, a stark reminder that spirits and spells thrived openly. Our hotel, perched on the Indian Ocean, carried its own warnings. Locals advised us not to linger near the water after nightfall, citing the Prophet's hadith. The ocean is home to a class of jinn. The air felt heavy with anticipation, as if unseen eyes followed every step. My cousin, still shaken from the Mara, moved cautiously, while I could feel the tension pressing in from all sides. Every street corner, every alley seemed charged with unseen energy. Mombasa wasn't just a city. It was a liminal space where the natural and supernatural collided, and we were intruders in its domain. The night air along the Indian Ocean was thick with salt, yet heavier with something unseen. My cousin had gone to visit family, leaving me alone at the hotel. The beach called me, a tempting path into moonlit waves, but the moment I stepped onto the first sand-soaked step, a firm hand gripped my shoulder. The hotel security guard's face was grim. "Don't go further," he warned. His voice trembled, betraying a fear that went beyond human concern. Locals later told me of shapeshifters, beings that appeared human one moment and vanished the next. They roamed the beach at night, watching, testing, sometimes luring the unwary into the ocean's depths. The sand beneath my feet suddenly felt unstable, the shadows around me thickening, twisting unnaturally. The wind whispered in voices I couldn't place. Heart hammering, I retreated, realizing that Mombasa's legends were not stories to entertain tourists. They were warnings written into the very fabric of the night. The next day, we wandered through Mombasa's old town, where every alley whispered stories centuries old. Fort Jesus loomed, a monument to conquest and fear, while narrow streets wound like veins through the city's heart. Our Muslim guide spoke of relics and mosques, but when I asked about the Mgangas, the real practitioners of black magic, the air shifted. He stopped, eyes darkening. "Here, there are two types of magic," he said gravely. "The tricks on the street amuse tourists, but the true black magic is carried out by spirits. There's an island off the coast where people vanish, where the Mgangas reside. They are not to be approached, and their presence permeates even these buildings. Look for the triangle with the eye, and you'll know where they dwell." As I walked the streets, I began noticing the signs. Triangles hidden in plain sight, etched into walls, worn on doors. The city's folklore was tangible, a constant shadow threading the line between history and nightmare. By the end of our Mombasa journey, I understood the depth of the city's supernatural grip. Every story, every whispered warning, every shadow we passed held weight. The Mara had taught me that the wild hides its dangers in plain sight, but Mombasa showed that even civilization could harbor forces beyond human comprehension. I never saw a Jinn, yet their presence was undeniable. Every alleyway, every coastal wave, every triangle symbol whispered of unseen eyes tracking us. My cousin, once a hardened military doctor, admitted he had felt a presence he could not rationalize. The stories of Mgangas, of shapeshifters, of spirits dwelling in isolated corners, had left an indelible mark. Even now, the memories linger. Shapes in the dark, whispers in the wind, shadows that don't belong. The journey deepened my respect for the unseen and awakened a thirst for understanding the forces that exist just beyond our perception. Some experiences refuse to be forgotten. Some places never truly release their hold.